Like, as an engineer, what would you have done? Like, how does that happen?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to call this engineer.
I gotta do some research.
I was like, how does that happen? Like, how does people record a whole album from jail, bro?
Do you think they use AI?
No, I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you because I don't know. I did it and it doesn't sound like that. Okay. You know, and I love what we did, and I love that record, and I think it's got this vulnerable, real. You know, you hear the people in the background, you hear the clips of the phone, you hear, you know, it's a band pass filter coming into a, you know, line level input. So to get the top end and the low end and that clarity, there has to be another technology being used.
I'm like, it has to be like, especially, you know, like how do you do hooks? I want to listen to it myself, but I just was like,
yeah. The easiest way I would think to do it would, if you were really gonna do it, so you'd have two phones.
Okay.
You'd have one phone playing.
What's good, y'all? This is Ray Daniels, aka the Culture Referee, and I'm here to talk to you about YKTV Magazine, which is the #1 magazine for prison entertainment. These prisoners are sitting in jail. They have nothing to do but read these magazines and read your ads, buy your music, support your business, anything that you can do that's online commerce. They already have published over 140 magazines with 36 major artists that have covered it, and I'm giving you an opportunity to advertise this magazine and get directly to an audience that you know has the time and the money to spend. Info at the bottom, info at the Gauds Show. Holla at us, whether you're an artist, producer, whoever you are. We can help you with your business. Holla at us to get to YKTV.
The beats in this ear. And you have another phone with the earbud here and the microphone there with a voice memo. And so if you could sync up the beat with the microphone when you first started, so you have that sync point, the engineer could then chop, right? And then you would have an acapella and no beat. But the beat will sync up because I had that sync point at the beginning.
Exactly.
And so then I would have a clean microphone input, and Ariana Grande's cut records through a earbud microphone.
Bluetooth one? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you did it that way, I could then take that acapella, if I had the sync point, and put it on the record, and we would have the clarity that I hear on that album. But if we're talking about from a purist standpoint over a phone, I don't know.
So how do you record an artist in jail? Because you're talking about penthouses on all that. Like how do you?
So that is over a phone. We did a song, Still Waiting, back in 2021 that made the bonus track on Sincerely Kentrell. And Top called me and said, you know, I figured out the technical aspect before because I knew that if he wanted to record, I wanted to be ready. So I made sure that I took the aux cable out of the mic, the phone, and plugged it into the line levels of the interface. But I was able to then take the aux and Pro Tools to my headphones so I could hear him and talk back over the phone. Okay. So I was talking to him, but he was listening on the phone to the music getting played out on my speakers. And then he's hearing that rhythm with a little bit of latency on my end, and he's rapping through the phone. And then I'm using the audio I'm recording, and we made that song.
Got you.
And so,
because I definitely pictured it like,
you know, because you can't have the equipment in there, and it's 15 minutes at a time, and you know,
got you.
And so, but I don't know, maybe I'm not smart enough. I've never figured out a way to make a phone not sound like a phone, you know. So
compression.
Yeah, they said you created a new technology that makes it easier for artists to get the music done in any environment.
Yeah. Well, how so?
Well, Corey was telling me that he said that you have
the flow. So that was what I was talking about. So it's just about having it be. It's just having the studio be able to be set up and tore down in like 15 minutes, right? So I can go. I see that also separated me. And you got 100.
Talk your shit.
I love it. You got 50 pounds on your shoulder of mic stands, right? You have 4 mic stands of 50 pounds.
Yeah.
And I'm 30 and now I'm 40, and I'll put the 50 pounds on my shoulder, and I'll have 2 Pelican cases, and I have a backpack because I could set up a booth around you right there. I can have you be in your space, not look at anything in the room, not look at me, be in your space with a trapezoid 3 setup mic stand and then the microphone. And then I can be set up over there. I can run the cables. We can have the speakers and you can create.
Yes.
And I can do that and I can take that anywhere. And, you know, like for the what's the man, my memory? Call Me If You Get Lost on What's Your Name? That was an empty room. It was an empty bedroom with like 17-foot ceilings, and it was about 15 by 15. There was no furniture in there, and I set up that booth.
Yeah.
And we recorded that verse, probably in like 15 minutes, and that got the Grammy nomination, right? And that Ahmed won. But you know, it's that just being able to get out of the studio,
Yeah.
and being able to was really important for me on that one.
How do you see yourself, right? And what I mean by that is like, how do you see your priorities, right? Do you see, because obviously you're creating products, right? But you also are a product, right? You make money in the room, but you created stuff. So like, how do you see things like, so YoungBoy calls, Wayne calls, Future calls, everybody's calling at the same time. Like, how do you decide like what Jason's responsibility is?
Yeah, so sometimes it can get a little complicated. I think the easiest and most professional way to go is if a time slot's booked, the time slot's booked. And that, there's nothing up for debate.
Yeah.
I'm booked from the 5th to the 7th.
So that's how you do it. So like,
you know, and I've gone pretty much my whole career with very few exceptions that I would cancel on.
Yeah.
Or maneuver. And for the decade, it was, you know, it was, it was yes.
Yes.
And it was 3 sessions a day. And, you know, you got the self-driving stuff. It was a little before the technology, so I had the Ubers.
Yes.
And I'd take the 20-minute, 30-minute drive to the next session to meditate and refresh for another 12-hour session, then take the Uber for, you know, a 20-minute, 30-minute meditation to refresh for the next 12 hours. And we do 36-hour runs. And it was, and I was doing live sound at the time with TV and broadcast, just trying to do everything I could because failure wasn't an option.
Yeah.
How is this going to happen?
Yeah.
When is it going to happen? What do I need to do? How do I get to where I want to be and fulfill that void within myself to be where I feel comfortable enough, which for a lot of us creatives is really hard to do.
Yeah.
But at least getting to a point where it's like every day I solved one problem. I got a little bit further. I made something cool, and everybody had a lot of fun. And you know.
Yeah. So when you're working with, let's say, a young boy, like who, I get, but I don't get, right? What I mean by that is like the people that love him. I compare them to Tupac, because I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, like the relationship that we have, like my generation have with Tupac, if you don't understand it, it's like, but he meant so much. And that,
Yeah, your life's better when you understand it.
yeah. So for me, with YoungBoy, like I'm just asking, like, how were you able to communicate with him and make him trust you, right? Because like I've had, you know, producers, you know, I manage producers. I'm like producers, like they was in the room with YoungBoy, and YoungBoy came and told the A&R and everybody, get the fuck out the room. I'm about to work now. And it was like, producer, everybody get the fuck out, lead the beats, everybody go. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that shit has to be like hard, because just like whatever he is, but like he trusts you. How do you build that?
I trust him.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's how do you build that? You build that with time. I mean, by getting the jobs done and being professional. And I believe that we were meant to work together. I think it was always, you know, I met him through Rich the Kid. We were working on an album together, and that turned into a collaboration tape, and we worked together, and we had good experience. And then, you know, pull up, and you know, one thing leads to another, and we're doing the sessions, and then we're making good music. And you know, when he asked me, and he's like, and we did a session. He called me. I was working much. I was working anything I could, right? But he called me. He's like, I need you to pull up. It's like midnight.